Yeah, so let's talk about this like major shift in how brands are approaching creativity. So a few years ago, if you wanted to launch a campaign, you had two choices. You either like hire a massive agency that would charge you the price of a small island, or try to pull something off in-house with super limited resources. But now brands are bypassing agencies and hiring independent consultants like you, niche creatives, and even influencers to shape their marketing. So you work directly with brands. Why do you think this shift is happening?
I mean, I've just noticed that a lot of brands are interested in diversifying their strategy, doing something new and different. Independent creative consultants usually have the same or similar industry knowledge and expertise, but the process and their bandwidth and their approach is different. Um,
Yeah,
it's exciting, of course, to work with traditional agencies just because they have a different draw and pull. But I think the talent and expertise that I offer and that other creative consultants might offer, it's not bundled to a large team. So you can, really curate the services that you like, and you can sort of have fun with the process. It doesn't have to be cut and paste, maybe like
yeah.
other agencies might be.
That makes so much sense because brands do want like fresh perspectives, but don't want to like they do want fresh perspectives, but they don't want the slow process of a traditional agency. And like, let's be real, some of the most creative work right now isn't coming from agencies. It's more coming from like, I mean, in my For You page anyway, it's like internet culture, meme accounts, and like indie creatives. Like the
Definitely.
examples I can think of are like Marc Jacobs, like they literally hired a TikToker to be a creative consultant instead of like a full in-house agency sort of thing. And
Yeah.
like even like the creative agency Mischief, who've launched like the big red boots, that's all uh that's all agency independent work. So do you think we're gonna see more brands turn to independent creators, or is this just like a current trend or a fad?
I mean, I think it's a trend, but a lasting one. I think it's something that we'll see it shapeshift in a couple of different ways over the next, I don't know, 5, 10 plus years. I also think, with respect to some of the examples that you pulled off, like the cuss collar and some of the things that Mischief has been dropping, I'm just like, this is insane, but also I'm dialed in, right? Like, I don't know much, but I'm still trying to figure out the next drop. I'm still sending to my friends, yo, did you see this last one? And I think that type of energy is super impactful. It's really, from my understanding, what brands are going after. And if you're, I don't know, if you're waiting on approvals for a campaign to be done versus, getting this post out or just doing a drop in the middle of the night and seeing the same engagement, if not more, I don't see why you wouldn't try adding it to your
Yeah,
strategy, or at least
yeah,
considering it.
it's like don't blink and you'll miss it, or like blink and you'll miss it kind of thing. And
Yeah,
especially
or the
with
trend's not funny
yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
or
It,
like,
it
yeah,
becomes corny. Yeah, and
exactly.
yeah, let's talk about Mischief real quick because I'm like probably their biggest fanboy in this office. I'm like advocating for them in this office like no other, and no one gets it. They're like still trying to decipher what the MSCHF was for, but um, their their drop model is insane, and it's every 2 week. Do they still drop every 2 weeks? Do you know?
I think so. Don't quote me, but I think so.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, and so every project is so vastly different from the other one that like they're not defined by a specific project. Sure, the Big Red Boots has hit the mainstream, but they're doing so many different things in so many corners of the internet that it's like they've really had their fingers in every internet pie, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And it makes me think as well. I'm so curious about their internal metrics. Like, what are they measuring up? Sort of the success of these drops or the engagement of these drops? Is it different for different ones because they all are across different industries and products?
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I'm curious. Nothing that they drop ever feels lame or out of pocket. I'm always just like, huh. If
yeah.
nothing else, it's like the head tilt.
Do you have a favorite one that like really stood out to you?
I really liked the cuss collar, and I really liked, what was the you make yourself a YouTube, or make yourself a, dang, now I'm blanking on it. But it was something where you could basically like become a YouTube something inside of a screen, inside of a screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it had like a kaleidoscope effect to it. Anyways, that one was
Oh, like a
really fun.
virtual YouTuber thing. I feel like I've heard
Yes,
of it.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, that's cool. I really like the one where they did for the. It was I think it was like 3 4 years ago. It was for the 2024 presidential election where they'd buy like domain websites of like potential candidates that they thought would be like. They bought like the Rock, the Rock domain websites. They bought like Michelle Obama domain websites, and they're like, oh, you could buy a share for like $1, and if it gets sold to the actual presidential candidate, then you could get such a big return on investment. But if you lose it, it's still like $1 or like five or whatever the like tiny number
the
was.
value of it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
it's just
that to me is just clever. Yeah, it speaks to
no
the
one's thinking
times.
of that, and like yeah, I would love to see what like a planning or like a brainstorm session is. I'd love to be like a fly on the wall.
Same.